Okay everybody, I'm going to do a little maintenance on my 2013. This is a Yamaha Nytro XTX. If you are not familiar with this sled, it is a 1049cc 4-stroke snowmobile that Yamaha manufactured from 2008 to 2014. So this is one of the last years that they made this sled. We've got 5 of them between my brother, my buddy, and myself. Absolutely love these sleds. They're reliable. They are not good on fuel. They sound pretty sweet. They've got reverse, and they are a perfect sled for riding ditches and for hitting the trails. So this sled does have the small rised windshield. We don't have hand guards. This is kind of the good deeper powder sled of the crew of sleds. The other ones, they've got hand guards, they've got higher windshields, they've got wind deflectors, but this one is all completely bone stock. So we've got the dual runner tuner 2 skis on it. It does not have reservoir front shocks. We're gonna do spark plugs. We are going to put in the Yamaha full synthetic oil, and I'm gonna change the crankcase fluid on it, or the chain case fluid. So we're gonna go ahead and do a little maintenance on this thing. We're supposed to get some snow, so I'm excited about that. So let's go ahead and get into doing some work on this sled. Well, the sled's fairly clean, which I can appreciate. Okay, so now you guys really get to see me struggle. So I'm going to put this on the lift so I can take the skid plate off, get better access to underneath it, clean up underneath the motor, make sure there's no grease on there, keep everything in clean condition so we don't have future problems. How long does it take you guys to put the snowmobile on a car hoist? We're about to find out. Okay, just wanted to make sure I got this sled put on here properly, lift it up in the air so I can access the underside of the engine, get it brake cleaned, pull the oil filter, get the oil drained out of this thing as quickly and efficiently as possible, and make sure I don't miss anything that this sled potentially needs. Well maintained and ready to do some riding. Not a huge deal to throw it on the lift. I do have another snowmobile lift, but I did not have access to it because I got another sled on it, of course. Okay, so if you guys are familiar with removing these clips, I've just got a little clip remover tool. You pry underneath, pull the center piece out, and then you can pry the plastic shrouds off. Had to take both sides off along with this skid plate here. Not too big of a deal. I also have backup clips. The kits that come on Amazon on these clips are relatively inexpensive. I will link those down below. Okay, hopefully now you can see we're going to get this all brake cleaned off, get this very cleaned up. Replace our filter, can drain our oil, and we'll get this thing looking as good as new. So that's next. Allen wrench for the drain plug. We're going to be replacing this crush washer. Fabulous. I'm going to hopefully position you guys so I can get my drain underneath here. We'll start draining this hog. Brand freaking new. Like, brand new. What on earth? Okay. That's odd. It's not even close to black. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me drop this down. That oil's brand new. Like, has it ever seen combustion? My Lord. That's impressive. Huh. Okay. Well, that's a good sign. This motor's healthy. All right. Now we're going to pull this drain bolt. I pulled the dipstick off. Please tell me I'm going to hit it. Okay. We're good. Barely. I'm going to hold this because I'm teetering on my mat here. We're gonna, hopefully you can see this over my ski, we're gonna pull this. This is a screen that feeds your oil back into the engine off of your little tank here. This screen can get full of contaminants, so we're gonna pull these 2 Allens, take this hose clamp off, be able to pull that screen out and clean off that mesh screen. We're gonna brake clean all this, brake clean the whole bottom of the engine, get all that grease and debris off of there. Okay, so that's our drain plug where we have one crush washer. You saw me pull the oil filter, and this right here where we're dripping there, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll pull that and I'll clean that screen. We'll get this all brake cleaned up, make it look good as new. But we're gonna go over now to check out the crush washer setup here. So I'm gonna replace these two crush washers. I got a crush washer kit. This one came with my oil change kit, but I think I'm missing one. We do have a rubber O-ring here. I'm not 100% sure what that's for yet. It could be for a different sled. It just could be a universal thing. So let's go ahead and get those replaced. Okay, we're gonna spin up our drain plug here. That's clean. Go ahead and toss this back up in there. Okay. Was I tightening this one? Huh, what an idiot. Okay. All right, now we'll put on our new oil filter. Spin this bad boy on. Okay, now we're gonna do a little brake cleaning. I feel like it's very important to make sure you keep your machines clean. Brake clean is definitely your friend when you're working on the bottom side of this engine. Any type of oil or residue that's left over, super crucial to get that stuff off. So if you do spring a leak or you have any issues or problems in the future, you know what's going on. You can catch it, take care of it. I love me some brake clean. This stuff makes a huge difference in keeping your machine looking fresh and like new. Okay, my skid plate's all nasty, so let's go ahead, fire up the parts washer, we'll clean this up, get that skid plate in clean shape. I feel like the less grease and junk sitting on the bottom of your sled, just simply the better off you are. I hate the smell of this parts washer cleaner that I got in here, so excuse the cute gloves. Alright, let's get this cleaned up. Good deal. I'll dry it up good. Little brake clean. Okay. Got ourselves a much cleaner skid plate. The end. Okay. Next thing we're going to tackle here is getting the screen. I'm just going to break these free like that. And then we'll take care of the hose. Let's go ahead and get this hose clamp back here. That's off there. And spin these out. Fabulous. We're getting all the oil out of this engine. All that good clean oil. I can't believe how clean the oil is. Well, if how clean this oil is, this screen I bet is probably mint. Oh, we'll know soon enough here. Just kind of give her a little twisty wiggle. Oh, okay. There's some stuff on there. It's not terrible. Where's my O-ring? Well, there's a little bit of sediment on that. It's not horrible. O-ring is still on there. O-ring looks good. I'm not going to replace the O-ring. Going to give this screen a little blasting. Okay, well, it looks darn good to me. No problems with sediment. Is definitely been a happy motor based on what I'm seeing here. That's nice and clean. O-ring's looking good. We'll press this back up in here like so. Take our hose, just give it a 90-degree twist like so. And we're good to put our screws back in. That'll hold this in place nicely. And then we'll just pull the hose clamp back on. And then we will be brake cleaning this side of the engine off. And then we're gonna do our chain case oil. Dude, this chain case oil looks like brand new. I'm not changing it. It's so clean that I can't get myself to drain this good chain case fluid. It's not very expensive, but you know, I just wasted probably 50 bucks in oil seeing how clean the engine oil was. I really don't think there is any need to change that chain case oil. It's absolutely spotless. So we're not gonna do that. Not gonna do it. Now it's just time to start filling up the old engine with some oil, and then we move on to spark plugs. I can put my skid plate back on, and then we'll show you a couple other things. We'll probably do a little bit of maintenance on suspension, do some suspension maintenance, do some greasing. This sled does have every greaser has a grease cover on it. Let me see if I'm showing you guys anything at all. Okay. We've got things wiped off as good as I think I'm going to get them for now. Got some stuff brake cleaned up, which is good. Feeling good about that. I think it's time to put the skid plate back on, lower it down, and fill it up with some oil. Okay, we have all of the drain plugs in. Oil filter is on. We are now at the point where we're ready to start filling this engine up with some oil. I've brake cleaned pretty thoroughly on the underside and side of the engine. I have to do the clutch side yet. But I ran out of brake clean for the most part, so I'm being a little bit more sparing with the brake cleaner. Let's grab some oil. We're going to dump in our oil. This will work. So we're running, I think, ultimately, best case scenario, I want to run, now this is for snowmobiles also, it's the 040, it's the weight they want, it is the full synthetic Yamaha. I actually prefer this oil. Let me show you this. So there's a difference here. This is performance full synthetic. We've got full synthetic. This is 4T. This is performance full syn with ester. So ultimately, they're both good to negative 60-degree extreme cold weather. You know, this motor was so clean. I'm gonna hang on to the full syn with ester and use that for a future job, since I've got a couple other sleds that I have to do several maintenance oil changes on. All right, so it takes about 3.5 quarts, the motor does. I'm gonna go ahead and put in a couple quarts here. Then I will start the sled, let it go through the engine. It's going to pull it from this tank, because you can overfill this tank before you end up starting it. and then you've got this oil going all over the place, which is a super big pain in the butt. So best case scenario, put a couple quarts in, fire it up, let that move through the motor, and then you're able to fill and complete your fill. They don't want you getting in there easily, it seems like. All right, I'm going to carefully put in this third quart. All right, we'll grab the dipstick here, wipe that off. O-ring still looks good on it. The fuel pump cycle for a second here. That's good enough on the motor, moving the oil around. So let's go ahead and finish topping this thing off. I don't know if there's really anything more satisfying than doing maintenance and oil changes on machines. I swear I spend more time, money, and effort doing oil changes and maintenance on all the machines I've ever had, for sure, than I have spent time riding them, which is a sad thing because I love riding machines. I love getting to go out and enjoy cruising and a bunch of stuff, but geez, it's just... Okay, we were at the low point. I think I'm going to add just a touch more and we'll be dialed. This thing's going to be ready to rip. Okay, we've got the Yamaha pre-diluted coolant here. I'm going to pop this off. I am quite certain we need some coolant in here. Just a little bit, but let's just top it off. Check to make sure everything looks good up in here. Yep, fresh, beautiful blue coolant. So that's good. Can I do this without a funnel? No. Okay. Got my little modified funnel there that I've melted to have a little kink to it. There's a little sight glass here on the side of the engine compartment. So we've got low and you've got full. We're cold right now, of course. So we're just going to top this off. That's not enough. There we go. So now the overflow reservoir is filled up also. That's dialed in. Perfect. I can see it's got the upgraded starter relay, which is something that these sleds can sometimes have a problem with. The relay, when the sled gets super cold, it can blow that relay. So then you don't have the ability to start your sled until you replace the relay. So a lot of guys keep a spare with them. I've got a couple of them here. How are things looking? Decent. There's a little bit of surface rust and some stuff like that on here. You can do a bushing kit to remove that tiny bit of play. But once you start riding the sled, you're basically going to break that in again, so that's not terrible. Okay, before I get to putting the cover back on, I mentioned that there is a plate here that's kind of flopping around. So if this belt breaks, I don't want to break and blow apart the engine cover on this side of the engine, so that's what this aluminum plate's for. I'm going to go ahead and try to bend this a little bit straighter, and then I'm going to drill a hole through this plate, and then I'm going to put some hardware through it. I don't want to rivet it because of course I can't take this plate off. I'd have to unbolt it. That'd be a pain in the butt if you're trying to pull your engine cover off the side. So that is something I need to do. Also going to just take a gander at the plugs. I don't know, based on just how well everything seems to be maintained, I'm thinking it's probably not going to be worth it. Not yet. I've got another Nitro. It's got quite a few more miles on it. Might make sense to do plugs on that one. All right, so this is the coil pack. Weird, like aluminum corrosion on it from it just sitting on here. So we're going to go ahead and pull one spark plug, take a peek, see the condition of the plug. If it looks like it needs to be replaced, then I'll do all three. So let's start there. Something you can never have too many of are extensions, that's for sure. There we go. Found the combo that'll work. Spark plug. Yeah. So I took a little tiny bit of wire brush to it, and it just cleaned off way too clean. I'm gonna make that call that it is not time to do the plugs. So this little rig was definitely maintained quite well. I'm not concerned about the plugs at this current juncture. So we've got coolant. We did the oil change. I'm gonna just brake clean and clean up here around the clutches just to keep that debris and all that stuff clean. Straighten my metal sheet for the belt guard, and I've got grease coming out of all the fittings, or all my pivot points, so it's looking like it doesn't need to be greased. I'll check out the skid for sure. Otherwise, geez, this thing is gonna be perfect to go ripping. See what we got for some tools to be. Okay. A little mark on the plastic. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to have it be at the size where I can feed in a clip. Since everything else to take this side cover off is a clip, might as well make it easy. I can have a clip going up from the bottom. It won't be intrusive. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure I used a plastic clip, that way I can easily replace it if it were to break in the future. Holds the metal to the plastic quite well, and I don't have to be concerned about taking hardware apart when I'm on the trail. I just used a step bit, bored out the aluminum guard and the plastic that is the side cover, and made it as easy as possible to just hold this in place so I don't have to worry about it rattling around and braking. If the belt breaks, then we can keep things all aligned nicely. There we go. Nice. So now I can remove this by just taking a clip remover tool, and my aluminum is held in place nice and snug, and we are money. That's exactly what I was looking for. Alright everybody, I'm going to go through the nightmare of trying to edit this video and hopefully make it somewhat entertaining. Probably got to up the old enthusiasm and give you something worth watching. I'm a huge fan of the Yamaha Nytro. If you guys want to see more content on these sleds, please like and subscribe. Let me know. I am going to get this thing all buttoned up back together. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a video where I show you guys some ceramic coating and plastic trim products that I put on snowmobiles to make them super hydrophobic, make them a whole lot easier to clean, and when you're riding on the trails and it's in a super slushy, snowy condition, the water and the snow just beads off the sled and makes it a lot easier to keep your sled looking cleaner longer, and it adds UV protection. So we're going to put it on the seat, the plastics, all the cowlings. Definitely something worth checking out, so I'm going to do a video on that upcoming next. This is just a basic oil change. The sled basically didn't need it. I did not do spark plugs. I have them, so if it acts like it needs it in the near future, we'll be doing plugs. That's a piece of cake. And the chain case oil didn't need to be done because it was as clean as can be. So, sled's basically ready to go. I'm very excited to hit the trails, hit the ditches, whatever I can get myself up and doing. The next video is going to be on the Schmidt Brothers Stage 2 clutch kit with their quiet kit. I have a 2013 Nytro XTX with very low miles, very, very nice sled, and that one I'm going to show the difference on how the clutch engages, and we'll decide, is it worth it or not. I'm thinking it's probably going to be worth it, especially when you're loading them on the trailer and you just have little to no engagement whatsoever. You can literally just feather your throttle right up onto the trailer. makes it a lot easier for taking off on the trails as well. That's going to end off this video. We've got a lot more content coming out, and please, if you could, like, subscribe to this video. I'm going to work really hard to do a lot better videos in the near future, but I just kind of had to get this done with because, fingers crossed, we're getting snow.